Pray everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا ونفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. O Allah, teach us what benefit us from what you have taught us, and increase us in knowledge. Ameen. حمد الله رب العالمين حمد عبادي الذاكرين الشاكرين وأصلي وأسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أجمعين. All praise was and will always be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We praise Him, we glorify Him, and we seek refuge in Him, the way His thankful, His grateful, and His remembering slaves do, and we send our benedictions and our praises on the Prophet ﷺ and on his companions and his family the way they deserve. Today, I want to tackle a verse which, subhanAllah, of course, you can cite the whole Quran your whole life and you not grasp all of the meanings. But there's a meaning that I've learned recently, and of course I don't practice it to its due, but I think it's very deep. I posted 2 screenshots in the description that you can look at. So we'll just look at the first one. But the verse that I want to focus on, I think it's in the second screenshot, so forgive me. It's ayah number 33. كَيْ نُسَبِّحُكَ كَثِيرًا, so that we may exalt you much. Bear with me, let's take a small trip into the situation, what's going on with Pharaoh and Musa, or with Sayyidina Musa mainly, and what does tasbih mean, and then what does this mean in our practical lives. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, here in the beginning of this, in the beginning, He says to Sayyidina Musa, go and speak to Pharaoh. Go and speak to Pharaoh. But of course, Sayyidina Musa understands exactly what's going to happen. Pharaoh is a person that is known. Yeah, he either kills or he puts you in prison. There's no in between. And by the way, one of the shuyukh, beautiful, one of my teachers, he was looking at, he was having like a historian lens towards the Quran, and he noticed that usually void of religion, this is when people are void of religion. The people of Sham, which is the area of the Levant region, or in other words, Palestine, Jordan, Lebanon, this area, when they used to attack prophets, they don't like that people are going in the way of deen. When they would attack them, they would kick them out of the country. Exile them basically. The people of Iraq, or the people of Sayyidina Ibrahim, they would kill. They would not wait, they would kill. Their way of being is they would kill. And we see this pattern until today, even in the tyrants of today. And the people of Egypt, their way was to imprison someone, put them in prison, like Sayyidina Yusuf did. This was the best way. Or to enslave people, use them for labor. And if anyone of you knows anyone in Egypt, when they put you in the army, it means they're going to use you for labor. They know exactly what you do in your life as a job, and then they use you for labor in the army. Pharaoh, Sayyidina Musa knows exactly what he's going to see from Pharaoh, and he's afraid of that. Naturally, he's afraid of what he's going to see, and so he tells Allah a dua, a beautiful dua that we repeat until this day, many times. He said, "Ya Rabbi shrah li sadri," expand my chest, وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي, and make my ease and my mission, and make my affair and my mission easy. وَاحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِّن لِسَانِي, and untie the knot of my tongue. It's beautiful, but it's a knot. Untie it in such a way that I can be eloquent. And this has many tafsirs. One of it is because he used to stutter when he would speak. Another is because he was afraid. He doesn't want to speak while he's afraid. And the third is because he was always very hasty. Musa did not did not take fools lightly. He was always very strong in his opinions. He was afraid that he would speak to him harshly, because in other verses Allah says to him, speak to him softly. For Musa is not this kind of person. Musa is, you are wrong, and I will tell you in your face. That's it. He was telling him, untie all of these knots that I have to untie. يَفْقَهُ قَوْلِي, so that I can comprehend my speech and people can comprehend my speech. وَاجْعَلْ لِي وَزِيرًا مِنْ أَخْلِي, and make for me an assistant of my family, my brother Harun, so that I can strengthen myself with him and I can have a partner with me in my mission. You know, it's we sometimes underestimate the importance of having a good companion on the way to Allah. We really underestimate this, by the way. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, you have to be with the jama'ah. And if you cannot find the jama'ah, then you are the jama'ah. He started with that you have to be in a group. You have to be with good people. If you cannot, good and well, be alone. And this can be a test for some people. They will not have people with them on the road for years. But when you do find someone, do not say, I'm going to be Hulk. I don't need anyone. I can do the whole thing on my own. Who needs the people? Don't do that. The Prophet ﷺ, he had Sayyidina Abu Bakr. Sayyidina Abu Bakr had Sayyidina Umar. Sayyidina Umar had Sayyidina Ali and Uthman as his companions. Sayyidina Musa, he had his ghulam when he was traveling. Sayyidina Yahya, he asked for Sayyidina Zakaria, he asked for someone to carry the burden after him, the da'wah after him, Zakaria. It's very important to humble yourself, and Allah loves to see this is a form of worship. Allah loves to see this partnership in life towards Him. He loves to see this in life. It's something He appreciates. He even loves it when a person who is good has a partner or a friend of his who is good, but he's not really on the straight path, but he's still a good person. For they are together and one of them saves the other on Judgment Day. Allah loves this as well. وَأَشْرِكْهُ فِي أَمْرِي, and he can be part of my mission. This is the main verse. كَيْ نُسَبِّحُكَ كَثِيرًا. I would be understood if he said, give me all of this so that we can convince Pharaoh. So that Pharaoh can give freedom to the Egyptian people. So that Islam can be the main religion of the population. So that a lot of things. But you asked him to give you support, to untie the knot in your tongue, to make you patient, to make you be able to face Pharaoh, for you to have a support that he's your brother. All of this so that you can praise him a lot, exalt him, and you can exalt him on your own. You can sit down and exalt Allah on your own. But this is not the point. That's the first thing we want to tackle, is the context. So we know the context. Now we need to tackle the word of tasbih, and then we can come to why is it so important here to understand the word كَيْ نُسَبِّحُكَ كَثِيرًا وَنَذْكُرُكَ كَثِيرًا. The word tasbih in Arabic, it comes from the root word sabaha. Sabaha usually means to swim. It can also mean to save yourself by being afloat. It doesn't necessarily mean to swim, but it also means to save yourself being afloat or to be afloat. So when we say Subhanallah, it means basically two things. The first is that Allah is above everything and anything. This sea of life and its problems and its issues and its imperfections, and Allah is above all of this. He's on the top. We are in the ocean, He is on the top. The second is, you can only swim through life with Allah, subhanallah. You can only swim through this ocean and make it to the other side by being afloat through the exalting of Allah. By holding on to Allah and seeing Him as the only thing worthy of worship, only entity worthy of your love, only entity worthy of your time and your money and your trust. This is the only way you can float and reach to the other side. Also, the word subhan, one of its meanings is that you clear something completely of any type of minus or ill. So when you say subhanallah, it means that you are removing any type of ill towards Allah. Allah does not sleep, Allah does not forget, Allah is not oppressful, Allah is not unmerciful, Allah is not forgetful, etc. And you are describing Allah with everything that is perfect. Allah is all wise, Allah is kind, Allah is the all merciful, Allah is the most merciful, Allah is omnipotent, He's omniscient, He's omnipresent, etc. What does this have to do with this context? Why is tasbih so important? You see, when we keep on saying Subhanallah, 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 Alhamdulillah, Subhanallah Azim, you're saying that Allah is perfect. Allah is perfect. Allah does not do anything wrong. Therefore, Allah is the wisest. Therefore, Allah knows exactly what He's doing. Therefore, if Allah asks me to do something that is very difficult and I'm afraid to do it, Allah knows exactly what He's asking for. Therefore, Allah is not oppressing me. Therefore, whatever happens in this situation, whether I'm able to reach victory or I'm not, this is the right thing to do because Allah told me to do it. Therefore, if I truly believe that He is the most perfect and He has asked me to do something, I will make sure everything I use or everything I have been given as a tool or a gift is being used to serve His cause. Therefore, if I know that He is perfect and He knows exactly what He's asking for, and He knows exactly what He's doing, and exactly where He's put me in the universe, and exactly where He's put my problems and the tyrants, and I'm going to face them because I know He is there, and He has asked me to do this Himself, therefore, I'm not afraid. Therefore, I have complete tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because I know He is the most perfect. I don't know exactly what's going to happen in life. I don't know how things are going to be tied, how He's going to tie different qadrs together. But I know that He is the most perfect. And therefore I have complete tawakkul. And this is what Sayyidina Ibrahim said in another verse. He said, وَكَيْفَ أَخَافُ? And how can I be afraid? When his people were telling him, we will do this to you, and that to you, and this to you, he said, وَكَيْفَ أَخَافُ? How can I be afraid? And you are polytheists, and I am not. And after it, right away, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him that license. He said, فَأَيُّ الْفَرِيقَيْنِ أَحَقُّ بِالْأَمْنِ إِن كُنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ? Which of the two teams are more deserving of feeling secure and safe in their heart if you only knew? Those who believe in الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَلَمْ يَلْبِسُوا إِيمَانَهُم بِظُلْمٍ أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمُ الْأَمْنُ وَهُمْ مُهْتَدُونَ. Those who believed and they did not share their belief with any type of oppression. Oppression here can mean shirk, being a polytheist, seeing yourself as a god. You don't have to have a statue in your room made of oak to prostrate to, or made of agua, or made of dates, or made of rock. You can prostrate to your own self. So those who do not commit shirk this way, or do major sins, or do sins that are so repetitive, even if they're small, that they make them oppressful people. Those are the people, أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمْ الْأَمْنُ وَهُمْ مُهْتَدُونَ. For those people is complete safety and security of the heart, and they are the ones who are rightly guided. كَيْ نُسَبِّحُكَ كَثِيرًا وَنَذْكُرُكَ كَثِيرًا إِنَّكَ كُنْتَ بِنَا بَصِيرًا. So that we can exalt you much, and so that we can remember you much, because you have always been all-seeing of us. Do you see the connection? You are so perfect. كَيْ نُسَبِّحُكَ كَثِيرًا. Remember you much. We remember that you know exactly what you're doing. You are the all-merciful. You are the all-wise. You are the one who gives sabr. You are the one who gives support. You are the one who gives a person sabr that he can take arrows. When we hear these stories about the Sahaba who used to stand in front of the Prophet and would take so many arrows in their back that there was not one finger's length that you could not see a bow and arrow in the back. How do you think they had this patience? Allah is the one that gives patience. The hadith of that the shaheed, that martyr, does not feel any pain of the stab except the first, and it feels like the head of a pin. Yani, all our brothers and sisters in Gaza, whatever bomb they send towards them, whatever charade comes out of it and it cuts them in half, all of this, they do not feel it. They feel a pin. Who puts this equation that they only feel a pin? Needle. Allah is the one who does this. Allah is in control of all of this. So we remember how in full control He is, and then we remember in the end, إِنَّكَ كُنْتَ بِنَا بَصِيرًا. You're always watchful over us. You're not going to leave us. And as long as you are watching me, therefore, وَكَيْفَ أَخَافُ? Then how can I be afraid? Then I will go and face Pharaoh. And I will go with my brother. I will ask you for the reasons that would help me reach the goal, the asbab, or the taking precaution, or the precaution measures. I'll ask for my brother, I will try to speak calmly, etc. But I know in the end you're watching. It's exactly like a child. Yani all of us have had this experience one way or the other, whether be it with our parents or our grandparents or a mentor, where you stand in the playground and someone is very mean to you, and you know that the person this adult who is with you loves you, they have power, they know how to speak, they know how to shout, etc. And you're a little child. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. You're small. And you go to the person and you're going to defend yourself, or you're going to fight with that little bully on the playground. And as you're going, you remember, let's say you're talking about your father. My father has never let me down. Oh, my father always defends me. My father has taught me how to, use a football. He's taught me how to hold a gun. He's taught me how to swim. He's taught me how to throw a ball properly. He's taught me how to, chase a dangerous animal or insect away. I'm sure he's going to defend me. He's not going to do. And then you're walking and you're watching, and he's sitting on the bench and he's waiting. And he's looking at the enemy, at the bully. He's waiting to see what the bully will do just so that he can help you out. Hold him back by the arm, take him to his parents, etc., make him cry, whatever he's going to do. This is the whole idea of tasbih. And that is why we are asked, وَاذْكُرْ رَبَّكَ كَثِيرًا بِالْعَشِيِّ وَالْإِبْكَارِ. And remember your Lord much in the mornings and in the evenings. وَمِنَ اللَّيْلِ فَسَبِّحْهُ وَإِدْبَارُ النُّجُومِ. And in the night, exalt him. And when the stars are leaving, and during the time of Fajr. Because Allah gives character. We live with all creatures of Allah. Allah makes the stars have character. وَإِدْبَارُ النُّجُومِ. As if the stars are walking away. Ya salam. وَسَبِّحْهُ وَإِدْبَارُ السُّجُودِ. In Surah Qaf. And exalt him after the sujood, after you finish the prayer. And you're supposed to exalt Allah day and night. Tell me, a person, if we exalt Allah day and night, and we remember how perfect He is, and we remember His characteristics day and night, the all-merciful, the all-wise, the all-loving, the all-omniscient, the all-present, the, all of this, and then we are put in the middle of a problem, we'll be like, so what? I have Allah, He's with me. What's new? You will feel this perfection, this understanding of perfection will never lead you to the question of why did Allah choose me? This question of why did Allah choose me? By the way, I say this and I say these things all the time. And I'm learning, and whatever I learn, I'm sharing with you guys, because it's very important for us to all change our mindset. It's enough that we've put Islam into a few donations for the mosque, a little modest dress, some sadaqah here and there, biryani over iftar, a nice samosa to the neighbor, and that's it. This is Islam. It's enough that this is Islam, and we teach our kids a few juz when they're kids, and my kids are Muslim. Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. That's not Islam, ya jama'ah. This is not Islam. When we say, why did Allah choose me? I'm such a good person, and I'm still being tested. Why did I have this problem? Why is this happening to me? Why, no matter what I do, nothing changes? I got the problem last year, and now I have another new problem this year. All of these questions are pure definitions that I do not see Allah as perfect. Because if He is perfect, then His qadr is perfect, with the positive and with the negative. Does this mean that we sit and we watch and we say, khalas, okay, our sisters and brothers in Gaza can burn? Allah is perfect? No. The fact that Allah decreed that they will have this test in their lives, and they have to make it through, and they're all stuck in a battlefield. The only weapon they have is their bodies. We're here till all your weapons are done. We're here till you finish all of your gunpowder. We're not leaving. This is the only shield they have. This is perfect. And the fact that He put the qadr, and He wrote in the Sunan al-Kawniyya, or in the laws of the universe, that we have to go and fight to resist and to save them. And if our governments prevent us, then we have to have a movement to be able to go and defend them. And some of us cannot go and defend them, so they have to send money. And some of us do not have money, they have to do dua. The fact that He put this qadr, this law, this is perfect as well. When one of us does not fulfill his part of the equation, then we are the problem. It's not Allah. Hasha, astaghfirullah. They always say Islam or religion is a perfect solution to an imperfect world. It is a perfect solution to an imperfect world. Allah did not decree that if you take deen and you put it in everything, that everything would become 100% good. No. There are some things, no matter what you do, the best good you can have in them, 60%. Deen is the only thing that will give you that 60%. Nothing else. Because this is the nature of dunya. The other 40% of going through the test and feeling the pain and going through the pain is what makes it 100%. Is there 60% you have mercy, you're having a problem in your job. You like your job only 60%. 40% silly politics at work. It's a temporary job. You might get kicked out anytime. There's nepotism at the workplace, all of this. This 40% is what makes the work 100% good for you. Because this 40% is what will make you a person who is of the sabirin, the perseverant. Is what will give you hasanat. Is what will show the true character. When people backbite, you do not backbite. When people are backbiting each other, you defend others and you take the hasanat on Judgment Day. When the fire is coming towards you, it will burn everyone and there will be a shield. Like a beautiful blue shield, and we can all imagine this with all the Harry Potters and Marvels we see in our lives. A beautiful blue shield in front of you, and the fire will not touch you. Per the hadith, whoever protects the chastity or the name of his brother in his absence, Allah will put a barrier between him and hell on Judgment Day. كده. If that 40% was not there, then what are you then? Then you have to be very afraid. Because Allah does this to people He doesn't care about. Nasullah فَنَسِيَهُمْ. They forgot Allah, so Allah forgot them. He gave them nothing for them to stand for on Judgment Day. The Sahaba were the ones who were tested the most after the Prophets. They all had difficult lives. It just made them better. It made them who they are. It made them be the ones who were able to carry the deen across continents. If it weren't for the Sahaba, we wouldn't look at all of us today. We would not speak to each other today. We would not know each other in the first place. So this is the point. When we do a lot of tasbih, subhanallah wa bihamdu, subhanallah al-azim, you are the most perfect to Allah. What that means when you say subhanallah wa bihamdu, it means I am saying you are the most perfect. There is nothing wrong about you. You are free of all ills. And you are described with all the best of characteristics. And then you remember His characteristics. The all-merciful, the all-watching, the all-capable, the all-this, the all-that. And then you remember that He is the one that decreed this problem, and He is the one that asked you to deal with it, and He is the one that puts you in front of it. And so no matter what happens, even if you get injured, physically, morally, emotionally, financially, you know He is watching, He allowed for this, and you're not afraid, and you accept it all. And in the end, إِنَّ لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّ إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. اللهم أجرنا في مصيبتنا وخلفنا خير منها. We belong to Allah, therefore we do not have any self-sovereignty. He is the one who gives us all the sovereignty. He is the one who decides what to do. وَإِنَّ إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. You know, it could have stopped as إِنَّ لِلَّهِ, and it could have stopped at that, but Allah is so kind. The dua is إِنَّ لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّ إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. And to Him we will return, and He will give us a reward for every single atoma of patience and perseverance and content with Him. Nothing goes astray. Nothing goes astray. And I end with this. This is the mentality of a person who is Rabbani. A Rabbani means a person of Allah, who thinks in the way of Allah, who thinks in the way of the Prophets. You know what? I can leave it to tomorrow. Actually, no. We'll leave it to tomorrow because that's a different topic altogether. We'll leave it to tomorrow. Apologies. But yesterday, I mentioned 5 things and we did not complete them. We said that the reason a believer is created is 1, to worship their Lord, to know their Lord, to love their Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to worship Him. The second is to give da'wah. The third is ʻAmer al-ard, is to make the world a better place through physical effort. The third is to defend the weak. All the weak, of course the Muslims first, but all religions, all faiths, even people with no faith, you defend them if they are weak and if they are being oppressed by another nation. And that's how Islam spread. And the fifth is to establish justice on earth. What good is it if you help people to become Muslim, and you defend people who are weak, and you worship Allah during the night, and you find in your heart the most important person to you is not your wife, not your husband, not your kids, not your parents, not your best friends, it's Allah. And you make the world a better place, but you don't put the system of justice. What is the system of justice in the workplace? Are we allowed to backbite in the workplace? How do you spend your money, your zakah? How do you spend your sadaqah? What do you do if somebody swears at someone? Where's the system? We need a system. You have to establish that system at your own scale, and the more responsibility you have, the more you implement the system. So may Allah make us of those who always nusabbihu kathiran. We always exalt Him and remember that He is perfect and He is void of any ill. So that we can remember Him and remember all of His attributes. And so that we can come to anything He asks us to do, no matter how difficult it is. So we can all face our Pharaoh. be it ourselves, our communities, our workplace, the country we live in, the LGBTQ movement that we have to face, whatever it may be, that we're able to face it and say, Allah is perfect. He decreed this. I will fight to the end. He is with me. He is all perfect. He has given me the responsibility. I cannot be afraid if He is the one who has declared it, sent it to me, gave me the tools, asked me to go. There's no way I'm afraid because He is perfect. There's no way I can be afraid because I know He's perfect. There's no way I can be afraid because He is perfect. And as long as He asks me to do it, that is in itself of His perfection. اللهم اجعلنا من الذين يسبحونك كثيرا ويذكرونك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا. Allah, make us of those who exalt You much and remember You much. You have always been all-seeing of us. Allahumma ya Rabb, please give support and victory to our brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers and daughters and sons in Gaza. Do not make us of those who forgot them. Do not make us of those who left them behind. Do not make us of those who forgot them in the wealth that You have given us, in our dua. Do not make us of those who are able to defend them by body and by tongue and by heart and do not. Do not make us of those who have forgotten them. Oh Allah, accept them in these days as those who are the most patient of Your servants in the whole world, them and all of our oppressed brothers in Kashmir and Afghanistan and in Shishan and in Uyghur and in Iraq and in all of our countries and in Sudan and all of our countries that have been afflicted. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma ya Rabbi, help us to infuse all of our moments in these 10 days with Your tahleel and Your tahmeed and Your tasbih and Your takbir ya Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma, make these 10 days a blueprint for the rest of the year for the great good deeds that we do and help us do the best of great deeds. Allahumma inna ala dhikrik wa shukrik wa husna ibadatik. Help us to remember You much and to be grateful to You much and to be excellent in how we worship You. Ameen, ameen. Sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Wa akhir da'wan alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Thank you all for joining me today. Inshallah, I'll see you tomorrow with a new ayah that we will tackle. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.